do you remember about the Ottomans? A few mosques on the skyline of Istanbul, maybe, along with stereotypes like the terrible Turk and the sick man of Europe. Less well known is that hundreds of thousands of Hungarian Christians, along with thousands of Greeks, Armenians, Slavs and Transylvanian Protestants, fought on the side of the Ottomans. The notion where a noble Christian West fights a despotic Muslim East is the Disney version of history. When their empire collapsed, in the chaotic aftermath of World War I, their cultural legacy survived in multiple, often surprising ways. Theirs was the most cosmopolitan state on earth, lasting more than 600 years, spanning the continents of Europe, Asia, and Africa, ruling over 72 ethnicities and speaking at least 12 languages. Ottoman territory was a giant single market. No national borders. Commerce thrived. As I show in my book, The Ottomans, A Cultural Legacy, in contrast to today's world of nation-states, there were no borders. Trade was the stimulus and glue of the new society, with networks of caravanserais all across the empire facilitating free movement. They brought to the West their toughness from years of long migration as nomads from Central Asia, adopting the best of Byzantine, Seljuk, Arab and Persian influences along the way. Refugees were always welcomed. Most were European Jews and Christians expelled because their ethnicity or religion was considered inferior, such as the Jews who were banished from Spain by the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella, but were embraced in Istanbul. Better the Sultan's turban than the Pope's mitre, as the Greek Orthodox Patriarch summed it up. The women were just as tough as the men, fighting on horseback alongside them, even with babies strapped to their backs, wearing trousers beneath their gowns. The vision of their leader, Osman, from whom the empire takes its name, was to found an egalitarian Muslim state that valued the talents of all, no matter their background, ethnicity, or religion. The first Ottoman capital, Bursa, in today's Turkey, became the model Ottoman city, recognized by UNESCO for its unprecedented urban planning, built from the bottom up. Bursa's community hub was centered round the mosque, with markets, schools, hospitals, old people's homes, public baths, and soup kitchens, all offering their services free of charge. Churches and synagogues were close by. The Ottoman state was a meritocracy where even a shepherd's son, if he showed himself sufficiently able, could rise to become Grand Vizier, equivalent to Prime Minister. And the sultans, far from being bloodthirsty bigots, wrote poetry, were trilingual, highly educated and sophisticated. Ottoman achievements spanned many fields, from science to literature, from architecture to music. Yet the Ottomans always remained true to their nomad origins. They understood how to live alongside nature rather than exploit it, setting up the first animal hospitals in the world. When Sinan, the chief architect, built Istanbul's great Süleymaniye Mosque, he designed the dome so that the smoke from all the candles and oil lamps was channeled through a water filter. The resulting soot was turned into high-quality ink with insect repellent qualities and used to write fine manuscripts. The clean air was released into the city. It was the ultimate recycling, with 16th century flair. Public health under the Ottomans was way ahead of Europe, where many believed it was purer not to wash at all. Drinking fountains, often donated as acts of charity, were erected all over Ottoman cities and public baths were free. Pandemic management was well organized, with quarantine centers all along the Dardanelles, where ships would berth for a week before entering Istanbul to ensure they were not bringing disease into the capital. The Ottomans introduced smallpox vaccination in 1717, well before Europe, then made it mandatory for all citizens. Coffee, so central to our lives today, first arrived in the West through the Ottomans It was traded to Istanbul from Yemen in the 1550s via the Ottoman province of Syria, and Suleiman the Magnificent instituted a whole etiquette around the drink. He appointed a chief coffee maker and sipped it from specially made cups. A century later, when retreating from the Second Siege of Vienna, the Ottoman army abandoned its provisions, including sackfuls of coffee beans. None of the Austrians knew what to do with the beans at first, but gradually, thanks to a soldier who had once been an Ottoman prisoner, the exotic drink found its way into polite society, and to this day, coffee in Viennese cafes is drunk with an accompanying glass of water, Ottoman style. The habit then spread to Paris and to London, where the new coffee shops were known as penny universities, because you could join in discussions with the great minds of the day for the price of a coffee, 1 penny. So take time while you sip your coffee, eat your yogurt, reach for your towel, or relax in your trousers on your Ottoman sofa to remember the Ottomans and their cultural legacy. This is Diana Darke in collaboration with the Emir Stein Center.